be prepared technically. There's no point in going in and doing a bad job.
That's true.
There's always, with everyone, room for improvement, of course, but do the best you can do, and that comes down to being prepared. As a director, there's nothing worse than going into an audition and having somebody walk in reading their script or, reading their music. There's no excuse for that. Memorize the stuff, be prepared. If you haven't memorized it, you probably don't know it well enough. Another thing is to be friendly, right? We got to work with these people.
You want them to want to work with you, right?
Right, be a nice person.
Yeah.
Confidence is very good. And that's difficult because an audition is a inherently stressful, nervous-making thing, right? But if you've prepared properly, then there's no reason not to be confident. If you're nervous, it probably means you're not ready. You're not prepared properly. You don't know your stuff. Have your music prepared for easy reading by the accompanist. This can be different for a high school or junior high situation where everybody's singing the same things and the piano player knows just what to play and so on. But if you're doing some kind of outside or professional level audition, you, the auditioner, are coming in with your own music and you're going to sing the song that you've prepared. There is nothing more aggravating, and this happens all the time. All the time. There's nothing more aggravating than having the auditioner walk over to the piano player, put the music on the piano, and then spend 5 minutes explaining to the pianist how to do it. It drives us crazy. There's no reason for it. Prepare the music so that it's easy to sight read by the accompanist, or ask or hire someone to do it for you. It's a simple thing. You should be able to set it on the music stand and they can read right through it with no muss, no fuss. That's a really big bugaboo for me. So there's that. Another thing is not apologizing. It's very easy to walk in there and say, oh, I'm sorry, my throat's a little scratchy this week, or I have a cold, or you make a mistake and you apologize, and forget that, we're human. Everybody makes mistakes, particularly in a high stress situation like an audition. Just go through it. When you're on stage doing the show, you can't apologize to the audience.
Yeah.
If your pants fall down, you just keep singing. You just have to go. So you do the same thing in an audition. We need to know, we as the auditioners, we need to know that you are on top of things and no little distractions are going to bother you. So just go in, don't apologize, go right through it. Some people feel that it's important to dress almost in costume for the show or the part that they're trying out for. That's generally not a great idea.
Yeah.
Right. Because your idea of the look of the show is probably not the same as the costume designers and the director's idea of the show. So just look nice.
Yeah.
Don't think you improve your chances by dressing up as a cowboy to audition for Oklahoma. You don't need to do that. Just dress nicely. On the other hand, dress in a way that makes sense. I've had many young women come up in front of me wearing some kind of super tight cocktail dress and high heels, and they can barely walk. You want to be comfortable or at least appropriate. This is not a beauty pageant or and you're not trying to impress people with your wardrobe. You're trying to impress people with your ability.
Your ability.
So don't detract from the ability with some outrageous kind of dressing, men and women. And in a musical theater audition in particular, probably the first thing you're going to be asked to do is sing, obviously. You are a character in a story. And one of the things I work very hard with my actors is to sing as the character. I hate it when somebody's a great singer, but comes out of character to sing.
You got to have that connection to the material.
You have to be that person that's singing the song. And so that requires even more preparation, because now you have to know, what is the show about? What is that character about? What is that character's motivations? Make some choices in the audition to actually be the character while you're auditioning. It all comes down to preparedness. Very often, the directors will ask you to read or sing something other than what you've brought.
Yep.
Okay. In other words, if you brought a beautiful ballad or an aria to sing and you sing it, great. But the directors might think you may fit the part of some kind of character, a comedic character, or some kind of manic character, or something like that. So they may ask you, hey, have you brought anything that's more upbeat or more contemporary or less contemporary, or, you know, right? Mm-hmm. So it's always good to have in your book a half a dozen songs of all different styles. It's a great confidence builder in the directors. Yeah. If I ask you, do you have something more upbeat or contemporary? And you say, oh, yes. Yeah. Dennis, please turn to number 3 and we'll do that. If I ask that question and you say, oh, no, and I, you know, then I lose confidence in you, the auditioner. Have choices for the auditioners and to be able to impress them in different ways, because you may not fit the part you think you fit. Yeah. And this is a really important part about auditions, is to know your type and to accept that your idea of what part you should get in a show may not be the same as the director's idea of what part you should have in the show. Yeah. And there's 100 things that goes into that, and casting is an art all of its own. Yeah. And you as the auditioner have very little control over that, right? Yeah. So you may do a fantastic job and not get cast, or you may do a fantastic job and get cast in something completely different than you think you should be cast in. But you know, you get the job. If you do your best job and you're happy with your job, that's a success. I like it. Because you may have a really successful audition in terms of your presentation and your performance, but you just don't fit into the director's vision of the show. Yeah. But the musical theater community is rather small, and we all know each other. And whether it's in LA or New York or Chicago or wherever, it's a pretty small community. And if Danielle comes in and auditions for me and doesn't quite fit a part that I can find, but if she does a great job, I will remember. And next time she comes in, I'll say, oh yeah, I remember Danielle, she was fantastic. Yeah. Or if I'm talking to another director and she says, I need a great soprano. Oh, hey, Danielle. Hey,
I know someone. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very important. Your reputation is very important. Yeah. So, you know, always be prepared, always do your best, and don't think of it as a failure if you don't get a callback or you don't get a part, because it is not necessarily. Yeah. The people doing the auditioning want you to be great. Yeah. We have a problem. Our problem is we have all of these parts that we need to fill with people. Yep. And if we get 25 people come in on audition and they're all terrible, then that's a huge problem. We want you to be great. We want the show to be great. And if you're great, then the show is going to be great. The problem. Right. So don't feel like it's an us against them battle. Yeah. Right. They're with you. They want you to be good. Yeah. So go in with confidence, feeling that.